We are going to review today how to switch from camera to camera to camera while your movie animates. There's two things left to do. Do all our camera switching from front, back to external and back and forth to create drama and impression of flight. And then lastly, fine tune that and make the cameras move around a little bit as they follow the ship and film the animation. So that'll be the next review. Then that'll finish it off, and I'll show you how to render into your movie like this. So what I'm talking about is, here's the back cam on this. There is the external cam to create the impression of flight, and then back to the back camera. I don't know if he switches to the front camera again. Do a little barrel roll there. I think he does the front cam switch over here. He's on the back camera to see the explosion, and then he switches to the front cam right there. And then he switches to the external camera, which is like a tracking camera, so you can, it doesn't fly with the ship, it just watches the ship, tracks it. Okay, and then back to back camera. So how you switch your cameras is up to you. You're the cinematographer, but my advice to you would be have at least, I want to say 300 frames between changes. Otherwise it switches too fast. Okay? And so I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So, first thing you do is you're going to make a stage object up here from your environmental objects. That's going to have an area when you click on it, under object, that says camera. There's a bullet. That's how we do it. Pretty easy. Okay? You also have other things that you can switch, like backgrounds and environments and skies. We're just doing camera, stick to the easy stuff that we know. So after you make your stage object, you're going to really need to go over to cameras here and go to use camera, and then decide which camera you're going to begin on. I would imagine you're going to begin on the rear cam so that you can witness the explosion of the event. Okay? So at that point, that's where I'm going to open up my rocket ship, and what you have to do is find your camera, not the target, but the camera, rear camera. So when you go and look through your camera, remember the name, and then go find that in your objects palette and drag and drop it in there and record it. So it starts off there. And then I scrub my movie with my scrubber, and I decide where I'm going to switch. I like to do even numbers here. So that I don't have any problems that are weird, and I'm looking for like this frame 407, frame 338, and I would just put it on like 330 and 400 or something. But it depends on how your timing. Sometimes you can't do that. So here I'll switch to a new camera. What camera do I want to switch to? Well, I'm going to probably switch over to the front camera. Now I can't switch over to the front camera because it's recorded to be on excuse me, the rear camera right now. So what do? You kind of have to have sort of a frame of mind and an idea where you want to do your camera switches before you start doing this. Otherwise you're not sure and you're just guessing like I am right now. Okay, so let's undo that and we'll go back. So before we recorded that, and just roughly I'm going to be like looking through my camera like I'm planning my animation. So I think right about there would be good to switch over to the rear cam. And that's frame 495, so 4500. So I go to the front cam, switch to the front cam. And then maybe around 800, switch over to the rear camera, and then I don't know where my EX camera is, so, and I would write these things down on my tracker camera, but you want to set your tracker camera at a spot where you can see it coming and going really well. And so I think like right there would be perfect to switch over frame 1350, I guess. And then I would switch off of it at 1500. Okay, so those are the things you got to remember. All right. So I'm going to go to I'm just going to wing it right now, but I would have written those down if I was serious about things. So rear camera, record, scrub ahead, frame 400. I'm going to do like right when it goes around the turn here, and I'll go to, I don't know, 475 should be fine. It was on 400 before. And I'm going to drag in my front camera, replacing the rear camera down there. So you're dragging your camera into this box right here and then clicking record. And so now it'll stick on that. Then I'm out frame, I don't know, 800, I guess. I'll switch back to my front camera, or my rear camera, I mean, sorry. Or I could switch to my side camera. I did make an extra camera. Why don't we do that? That's not going to work out because right there it's catching a view I don't want anybody to see, which is like my ship in scale to the planet, which is going to look stupid. So don't think I'll be using the side camera. I don't know if I did set up a top camera. Let's see what that one looks like. That's okay. So we'll record it there. And then in frame 1200 or 1000, I'll switch back to my rear camera. And then on frame 1350 is where I decided to do my external camera. I'm going to do the okay there. So I'm going to drag in my EX camera, which is not in the ship. Remember, the EX camera target, or the tracker camera target, is in the ship so that the camera will track the ship as it flies around. So that's why the target has to be a child to the ship. But as far as the EX camera goes, or the tracker camera goes, it can be outside. So I'll replace it with the tracker camera, record that, and then it's going to watch it kind of whiz up, zoom, and then right about there, we'll switch out to, I think, the front camera would look good there. And then around 1725, I will replace it with the tracker camera again and record that as it zooms off into the universe, and that's where I'll end it. So now, let's watch our movie. So, Kablooey. Planet Explosion FX. Planets are orbiting. Now we still have to move the camera around. It can't remain stationary like this because then we'll get popsicle stick animation where it looks like the universe is moving around and the spaceship is standing still. But we are going to move the cameras next. We're just doing the camera switches now. Ship buzzes the thing, comes out of that, goes back into the EX camera, or the tracker camera, and then off into the universe. And there we go. Now, if I have a UFO, I'm going to have to figure out timing on that. So I'm going to have to figure out, like, where would be a good spot to have that UFO kind of come across. Like maybe I do it here in the front. Now, what if I need to do work and stuff? I mean, what we're going to do next is physically move the camera. So we're going to actually on the next lesson, we're going to take the camera and we're going to use the coordinates palette over here, and we're going to physically like alter the camera doing this type of stuff, moving back and forth and up and down and zooming in and out. So that kind of stuff has to happen after we do all the camera switching. Can't do it right now. And then I need to figure out my UFO, like when's it going to be visible, and also like I want, like I don't know about this planet texture here. I would like it if it was a little bit more something that could be physically seen and moved around, like maybe that. If you have like certain things on the texture, you can see it as it spins around, and like at the beginning of the movie I can say, you know, recorded at on the H, I guess I'll just record it right there, and then at the end of the movie I could say like have it spin around 5,500 degrees and record it there, and then that way it's moving around. You see how it moves around now? Because I kind of want to see that sort of stuff. I want that to be visible. And I really like this big planet here, but like you might discover after the fact that you'd be like, okay, I did all that work with that planet, and then it's completely out of view and I don't see it at all anywhere. And you might have to adjust your path to, you know, and fine tune it to like see that planet, because I think like there it is right there. Saw a little corner of it. All right, so the same thing applies to the UFO. I mean, now that I got it all recorded like this, I have to figure out how to get that UFO in there. Now, so I want to do work now to try to get the UFO in there. I have to figure, I've done my camera switching, so I just have to figure like when would be a good spot to see the UFO. And I can, you know, finagle the animation there. So like I'm thinking, like right here might be, nah, I'm kind of going uphill. Right here maybe. So I'm just kind of scrubbing my animation, looking for a good spot. I'm going to go into my EX camera here now. Maybe the UFO goes across its path, like right here. Like, across the screen. I don't know. It's up to you. You're the Spielberg when you do it. So, I guess I will check out what frame that was. I think it was 1600. 1300. Oh, you can kind of see the UFO right there. See it? But it's like not in view. So like that's the opportunity I'm looking for. I'm gonna scrub it some more and see like, do I see it anywhere else? And then I might just get lucky and I can adjust it there. And if I didn't, I was thinking of putting it there anyways, and then I just noticed it's down there. So you would want to create your animation. You could just draw a path that goes across at that point, and then just time it that way. And just like scrub back and forth to see like is it moving across the screen at that point. So at this point though, I can see it down here. I really want it to be more in frame. So in order to work on that, I have to go to the UFO spline up here. That's a separate spline you animate on. It has its own tag and all that. And I need to get off the stage object, but every time I try to, like, if I try to go to the default camera and then like do like a zoom or something, it might try to reset if I try to scrub it. Down here, it's going to reset to the external camera. See how it just flips back? So how do I get to the default camera in order to do some work is the question here. All right. And so I just kind of like adjusted my camera is too close now. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, so right about here, I want to see the UFO. All right, so that's frame 1400. That's what I'll keep in my brain there. Okay, so enough goofing around there. So I'm going to go to the stage object here, and we have like a check mark. You can turn it off, and when you do that, I should be able to go now to the default camera and do some work, like zoom in, not screw up my other cameras, and all that stuff. So let's go to the UFO spline, and I'm going to go to my points tool, and I'm going to try to bend that spline over. I think there's another point right there. It was on, the UFO was on top of that. Okay, and then let's go look through the camera and see, I think it was the tracker camera, if it's in frame there. Let's move it over more. Let's drag it up here so it's more in frame here. And then it's out of frame there now, and then it'll be briefly. So let's see like how long that is. So starting, remember it's like 24 frames per second, so starting here 1391, and then at by 14, almost 100 frames. So that should be a few seconds. I think that'll work out. Let's get off this camera and go to the default camera. And then what I also kind of want to do is take that UFO spline and in relativeness to the other spline, let's maybe move it closer, and then let's see if that screwed it up. So let's render it and see what does that look like. Okay, and we can even have some fun with this. Let's say that I'm going to go back to the beginning here and go back to the default camera. And this is how you can like customize it, is go put a camera on the UFO. So make a target camera. We'll call this UFO cam. And we'll call this UFO camera target. Remember, you got to put them suckers right on the object. Where to go? Oh my god, there it is. Which takes like I said, a minute or two to get it. You could use your top and bottom side view and stuff too. I'm just being lazy, even though it's taking me more work to do it. let's kind of put it in the cockpit area. And then we'll get our camera, the UFO cam. And that's going to pivot. Here's the thing that I haven't talked about that you may encounter is if your camera crosses the target, watch what it does. It flips. Zoinks. All right, and so, I mean, that's a good, easy way to get it to be behind or in front. But it also can be confusing if it happens to you and you weren't aware of that. UFO cam. All right, I like that. Let's put the UFO camera target into the UFO, and we'll put the UFO camera into the UFO as well. Okay, and so now, let's turn back on the stage object. And so we're like zooming along. And like, let's say from frame 8, when do I switch to that one? 800. And then at 1000 I switch off of it. I'm just trying to find a spot where I can switch over to the UFO cam. And then I don't care for that. So I gotta time it just right to have it make sense. Oh, let's see, front camera, rear camera. Let's just say right about there. Let's see, when do I get off that camera? Around 800. Okay, so from 600. We'll go to the UFO camera and see how that looks like. Alright, so now you can see how I'm just goofing around with it now, just having fun, fine-tuning it. So I'm going to switch over to the UFO camera at this point. Remember, we're on the stage object again, so it's going to flip back. So I might want to just turn off the stage object with the check mark and then go look through it and see, do I like that? I kind of want to look down on it a little bit, see the blinking lights better. Alright, so let's go to the stage object and we'll drag the UFO camera into the stage object at this point. So I'm going to drag the UFO camera and replace front camera and record it there. And then from here, it follows my spaceship, and then about there switches back over to my rocket. Okay. So just a little brief thing. Let's watch the movie now. We haven't moved the cameras yet. We're going to move the UFO camera around. So we have to make it like the camera kind of jiggle around and move and pitch, and that's how we'll create a barrel roll. But here we go, switching to the front cam and then over to the UFO camera. It'd be cool if I could get my spaceship into view here, but I'm not going to push my luck. And then there's my top camera, rear camera. Switches over right about here to the external camera, the tracker camera as we call it. The UFO whizzes by again. Some people have even, like when I've done the UFO in the past, have made the ship blow up the UFO with a rocket blast or a laser beam. Shoo. All right, anyways, I think as far as my camera switching goes, I'm done. So I'm sorry that took longer, but I needed to show you what it looks like. Next step, a separate video, how to adjust the cameras, and then fine-tuning the whole thing, which is, I kind of did a little bit of that right now. All right, so see you in class, bye.